Hey, you all. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we are in Valparaiso, Indiana, the town that I grew up in. Now, this may be a little different than most of the videos I do, but I just wanted to try something a little different, and I wanted to take you guys along and show you the town I grew up in. I was not born here. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My parents separated when I was very young. My mother moved back home to Indiana. My father stayed in Wisconsin, and I would go back and forth between the two residences, but this is where I went to school. This is where I spent the school year. So the majority of time I spent growing up here in this tiny little sleepy town of Valparaiso, Indiana. Actually, it's not as sleepy as it was when I lived here. I moved, I moved here when I was little. I think when I was probably about 1 or 2 years old, and then I moved to my current home state of North Carolina. Moved there when I was 18. So I spent the time in between that here in Valparaiso. We're in currently in the downtown area. This is Lincoln Way, actually. This is the main drag through the kind of the main street style road. The reason it's called Lincoln Way is it's actually the Lincoln Highway, which I did not know growing up here anything about the Lincoln Highway. And someday I'm going to do the whole Lincoln Highway in one trip. But for now, here is the Lincoln Highway. So yeah, I figured I'd show you around town, show you some of the spots that I remember from my childhood, and let me know if you guys enjoy this type of video. But for now, follow me. While I definitely remember all these buildings, these businesses in them are all new to me. There's been, I guess you call it revitalization, but yeah, a lot of new businesses opened up here. Hardly any of the old businesses I remember. So I think that Guild Drugs, I think that has been there forever, but most of this other stuff is brand spanking new, or at least it was put in the last 23 years. Let's see, they still have the Christmas decorations up here in town. And Valparaiso means Vale of Paradise, named after Valparaiso, Chile. Now here right in the center of town, we have a statue of the only famous person to ever come out of Valparaiso, Indiana, Orville Redenbacher, known for Orville Redenbacher popcorn. He'd actually come back to the town once a year for the annual popcorn festival, and he would appear in the parade. Now I would sit down next to Orville here, but the bench is very wet, so I don't want to walk around with wet pants all day. I'm sure you understand, Orville. This here's brand new. They built a skating rink here in the downtown area for people to ice skate, and look at that! It's a Zamboni. I don't think I've ever seen a Zamboni before. Not in real life. I've seen them in movies. But yeah, my first Zamboni sighting. Oh, good old Zambonis. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Here comes the Zamboni. Oh, there we go. Some grade A Zamboni footage there. Yeah, the plaza, the pavilion, all named after local rich men. Over here is the bank my grandma used to work at. It's called Fifth Third Bank now. It was not Fifth Third back when I was a small child. I don't remember exactly, don't remember what it was called back then. But Fifth Third, it's always been a slightly confusing name for a bank. But yeah, I remember going to see my grandma working at the bank. Let's just peek in the window here. I don't think you're supposed to film inside of a bank, but yeah, that long counter, that was always there. It's got some new carpet, some new paint, but it kind of looks like the same old bank. Here's the courthouse sitting near the center of town. You see that clock up there. Now there used to be a giant metal butterfly right there in front of the courthouse. I don't know where it is now, or maybe it's just been torn down and dismantled. But yeah, giant like artistic rendition of a like rusty metal butterfly used to be. Honestly, I don't even know if it really was a butterfly. It was just a big abstract sculpture. I think maybe I saw a butterfly in the sculpture. Now as we walk over this direction, it's probably one of the most important locations of my childhood that is not actually there anymore. This store here that is now Silcott's Shoes used to be a store called Pet and Hobby. It was both the local pet shop and the local hobby shop. Now when I was about middle school age, my obsession was fish tanks, aquariums, tropical fish, and as well as other pets. I went through phases. I had pet mice, I had pet rats at one point. I liked little tiny pets. I liked aquarium fish. I loved all of them, and that's what I would come every day after school. And I'm not exaggerating when I say every day after school. Literally got home from school and I would walk over here from my mom's house, and I would just look, you know, depending on, there was different phases, like I said. I remember just looking. I didn't always buy everything, but I always liked to just walk through and look at the fish, check the small animal room, see what they had in there. A lot of times I'd buy fish and walk them home, or buy something, and I didn't have a lot of money, but I would buy maybe a little item for my fish tank, something I needed. But every day, yeah, every day I would come here, and then I switched over. I don't know if I'm trying to think of the time period. Yeah, there was a time period where I loved mice. I had a collection of mice. I bought my first 2 mice, and I thought they were both, I thought they were both female, and it turns out that one of them was a male, and they ended up having babies. I think I brought the babies here and let them take the babies and sell the babies. But yeah, all the pets, many of my small animals, both fish and mammal, came from this store. And then, like I said, half of it was a pet shop, half of it was a hobby shop. There's like model trains, model airplanes, anything you can imagine for hobby. But I actually would start going to the hobby section when I got a little older. I started playing Magic the Gathering, which is a collectible card game. I'd actually come here to buy my packs of Magic cards. So just throughout my life, this was the giving tree to me. It just gave and gave. And now it just sells shoes, and I don't really need any shoes. But I figured we could maybe peek inside. All right, so this used to be the hobby counter over here where I'd buy my Magic cards. Now, of course, lots of shoes. And then this area right here with the stairs, that would actually lead up into the pet shop. So you'd walk up there, and you can see the door open a little bit, and there would be all aquariums along that side with fish in it. Now it looks like that's just where they store all the shoes. But man, even looking at that gateway, looking at the doorway and looking at those stairs, that brings back so many memories. So yeah, when I was a kid, I had friends. I had a small group of friends, but at the same time I was always really quiet, a quiet kid, kind of kid that keeps to themselves. So having the pets, having the little pets, and having that be, that was just part of my life that was really important and meant a lot to me. I'm still very much an animal lover to this day. Mostly I have cats now, but I'd probably, if I wasn't on the road, if I wasn't traveling as much as I do, I'd probably have a house full of pets. See the Temptation Gifts for All Seasons. Looks like that's been closed down. Very few of the old shops remain. I don't remember what this business here on the corner was, but we check through the window. They have a decoration pattern. You don't see that often anymore. They have some swastika floor tiling. Oh my goodness. It's an old wall painting advertisement, or wall dog as they're known. I can't make out hardly any words in this. Looks like there's probably several murals one on top of each other here, but if you can identify what, okay, that says restaurant. Is that the Palace? Palace restaurant maybe? Oh, this here is the Freemasons Lodge. You can see by the skulls on the door. Yeah, this is where the Freemasons meet. But shh, don't tell anyone. Now here's a restaurant that's actually been here quite some time, Don Quixote's, of course named after the confused knight who would attack windmills thinking they were giants. Now the first job I ever had was a paper route, but the second job I ever had was right here at the Papa John's here on the corner. And yeah, I was a dough slapper or dough tosser, what do they call them? You can see it doesn't look any different really. Pretty much exactly how I remember it. Tiny little shop in there. Yeah, it was my job to stretch the dough. I think it's a dough stretcher. I'd stretch the dough out so they could make the pizzas on it. I wasn't particularly good at it. I'm not great at stretching dough. Store Lifestyles, this has always been there. I'd go there and buy little toys and whatnot. Just kind of a generalized gift shop. The next door is the China House, which looks like it's missing a few of its letters. I remember this window here used to have like Chinese figures in the display. Now it's just a poinsettia. Maybe they just changed it for the holidays. Another institution here is Tony's Place. It's a pizza restaurant established 1955. It also says Pizza Hall of Fame on the sign. I don't know if there's a Hall of Fame inside the restaurant or they're just a member of the Pizza Hall of Fame. But yeah, definitely remember these building covered in rocks, and you can see people with kids always picking the rocks. Oh, you can see, oh, so many rocks have been picked off this building over the years. And this Pat's ice cream parlor, this used to be a Baskin Robbins when I was a kid. This is where we would go and get our family ice cream. I would of course always get the same thing, rainbow sherbet. The one and only black licorice ice cream? That sounds horrible. When I was a kid, I used to think this rock was a meteorite, but I don't know, I think this might be a weird looking rock. Now, I had mentioned earlier that I played Magic the Gathering. For those of you not familiar, it's like a collectible trading card game. You open packs, you build your own decks, and then you compete against other people's decks to see who wins. And I got fairly competitive in it. I actually, one year, I honestly can't remember off the top of my head which year it was. It was in the late 90s. I qualified for nationals in Ohio. I qualified at I think the Wisconsin State qualifier, and it got me into nationals, where I was thoroughly destroyed. My local abilities did not hold up against the national competition, but I got to go out there and play nationals, and that's something I'm proud of to this day. But here locally, you know, when me and my friends would get together to play Magic or to have Magic tournaments, it was at this location, Galactic Greg's. This was a comic book shop that we would gather to play Magic in, and the owner, Greg Karras, he is actually the nephew of Alex Karras, who played Mongo in Blazing Saddles. So a little bit of a celebrity connection there. Sadly though, I did hear from some of my friends a few years ago that sadly Greg had passed away. So very sad when I found out that Greg had passed away, but I'm happy to see that his life's work, the comic shop, Galactic Greg's, is still in business. And it actually looks like it's expanded. This section over here used to be a NASCAR collectible store, and then over here was the Galactic Regs. It looks like the whole building is now under the Galactic Reg banner. They have the Superman on the window there. I remember when Superman notoriously died in the 90s for a short period of time, they actually put a black square over his face and then removed it when he came back to life. Oh, look at that statue of the Silver Surfer right there. Yeah, it's different here. The main desk used to be right here in the center. There's the bins with all the comics, and then that area right there that's curtained off, that's actually where we would go back and play Magic. We have the Magic tournaments back in that nook over there. Oh, look at that. There's Spider-Man. He's been popular recently. And yep, still selling packs of Magic cards. Now this right here, this is where me and my mom lived when I was very little. This is the early, you know, thinking back of my memory, this is the first place I remember living. We lived, it's a duplex, so we lived on the bottom section, and then we had neighbors up on the top. I don't want to climb up on the porch or anything because I don't know who lives here, but yeah, I remember this porch here. I remember I had a sandbox on the porch that I'd play in, but every time I played in, I had to ask my mom to check it for cat turds because a local cat would use it as a litter box. I also remember the people upstairs, they owned guinea pigs, which I was impressed with as a little kid. See, I believe that would have been my bedroom right there with all the satellite dishes. And this here, this is pretty much the house I grew up in. I lived in this house until I moved out when I was 18. My mom moved out just a few years ago, and the house looks very different. This house is over 100 years old. It was made out of red brick, and you had all the natural brick. The new owners have painted it completely gray. And to make matters worse, this whole neighborhood here, this used to be a Bible school, and they've plowed that down. They've plowed down a couple houses, and they've built these massive condos right across from my childhood home. And honestly, when I came by here, I actually drove past it because I did not recognize the house. I did not recognize the neighborhood. This place has changed so much in just the last couple of years. While we're going through here, I just want to do a quick drive-through. This is I mentioned I used to be a paper boy. This is my old paper route that I used to do every day after school. You just turn down here. It takes me about an hour to do after school, but yeah, paper route was a fun job. Kept me active. Pulled me away from my my video games for at least an hour a day. And I remember I made $100 a month, and I thought I was rich. I never even knew it was possible to have that much money. Now I probably couldn't live on $100 a month. Not that I was living on it. You know, my parents kind of provided all my necessities. And this is my middle school. Benjamin Franklin Middle School. If you notice above the door there, it actually says Valparaiso High School. It used to be the high school, but it has not been the high school in over 40 years. But they still have it etched in stone up there. And yeah, I hated middle school. This was probably some of the worst days of my life spent in this very busy building right here. Yeah, I was bullied really bad in middle school. And I actually went here 2 years. I went here 6th grade, 7th grade, and with some other factors, I moved to with my dad for a year in Milwaukee. Partially because of the bullying. There was other issues as well, but sadly for me, the bullying actually followed me there. Not the same bullies, there was fresh new bullies waiting for me in Wisconsin. So yeah, middle school, those were some rough years. Let's go someplace happier. There's a little hidden park back here, Jesse Piper Park. You almost can't see it from the road. Just take this little pathway back here to the park. Some of my fondest memories as a small child frolicking in this park. Now sadly, all the shiny metal equipment from when I was a kid is gone and replaced with this gaudy, safe plastic. Yeah, I remember, I think you can actually see right where the seesaw was, right there. Big, long wooden seesaw. Remember, you'd always sit on it, put your friend way high up in the air. They'd be begging, let me down, let me down. And then you'd jump off the seesaw and send your friend crashing to the ground. But my favorite was the, be in this area, like the merry-go-round, the metal merry-go-round that you would spin. And I remember you'd spin and then you get to the edge and you try to hold on. And I remember like being spun on the merry-go-round, like holding on for dear life, and then being flung off into that tree right there. They used to have those little animals, those metal animals on coils here that you could ride on, but they've been replaced. What does this say? Wake ride? I guess it's like a surfboard. Oh, this. Oh, wow. I'm gonna break my leg doing this. Okay, you stay in the middle. And then here's, I guess, a skateboard that you can ride. And on snow days, this hill here, this would be the sledding hill. Everyone would head down to Jesse Piper with their sleds in tow. You'd walk up that side and go sliding like crazy down this hill. For our final stop of the day, I've stopped by my elementary school. This is Memorial Elementary School here in Valparaiso. This is right here on these in front of the school where we would line up for class. I remember me and my friends sitting there singing the theme to Ninja Turtles and the Mario Brothers cartoon as we waited to be let in the school this morning. So yeah, this is the town. This is the town I grew up in. Just a little walk down memory lane for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know what you thought of this video. And yeah, as you know, as someone who puts content on the internet as a quote-unquote vlogger, you know, you have to make a decision on how much stuff about yourself, about your personal life you're going to put out there. I try to make some mix. You know, I didn't start this channel like thinking it would be about me. I started this channel thinking it would be about roadside attractions, museums. I didn't see myself as any sort of character existing in that world, but somehow it's become a little more like that. I've shared a lot of myself with you guys, and you guys have been great. You know, of course, you know, you're always trying to find that balance. How much to share? You know, I've shared things too much in the past, so I've pulled back. I've opened up a little more, pulled back, opened up a little more, but still to this day trying to find that balance. I don't find myself particularly interesting, but I know some people enjoy when I do share a little bit more of my personal life. So this was my childhood splayed out before you. Maybe there'll be, I don't know, we'll just see how this new year, and we'll see if it's if there's some new me added in there. But I appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you like these videos, subscribe. If you want to help support the channel, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month. Also still selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop. All that is in the description, and all that just helps keep this train on the tracks, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.